Have you ever wondered if your Dodge engine could be a real nightmare on the track? Get ready, because today we're going to explore the Dodge Challenger engines that have become legends. But not for the right reasons. With promises of power turning into frustrations, some of these engines have left drivers wondering, what did I do wrong? Stay with us as we reveal the 10 worst engines Dodge has ever put under the hood of a Challenger. You won't want to miss this journey through tales of disappointment and automotive drama that will make you think twice before turning the ignition key. We start our list at number 20, Dodge 2.7 LV6. The Dodge 2.7 LV6 was introduced as an economical option, but it immediately left enthusiasts disappointed. Where's the thrill of driving when your engine screams "leave me alone"? With a 2.7-liter aluminum block and just 200 horsepower, this engine doesn't promise exciting acceleration. In fact, it feels more like a frustrating promise than a ferocious machine on the road. Users often report overheating issues after reaching 100,000 miles. Did you imagine buying a car that behaves like a human thermometer in the middle of summer? Known for its low fuel efficiency, this engine always seems to be asking for more. Did you know that many drivers feel as if they are constantly refueling a walking pump in their garage? At number 19, Dodge 3.5 LV6. The Dodge 3.5 LV6 was designed to be versatile, but it failed to impress. With performance below expectations, many drivers felt disappointed. Who would have thought that such a promising engine would end up with so much criticism? With a 3.5-liter aluminum block and up to 250 horsepower, the 3.5L looks good on paper. But high consumption eliminates any chance of being a true champion among engines. Can you imagine spending so much for so little? After 80,000 miles, head gasket problems become common, giving drivers yet another headache. How about calling this engine a walking bomb? That's right, because he left many on the road. Due to its lack of power, the 3.5 LV6 was quickly replaced with new options. Speed enthusiasts were unforgiving. Everything expected of him turned into a lament. What did Dodge think about this fiasco? At number 18, Dodge 5.2L Magnum V8. The Dodge 5.2L Magnum V8 was an engine that promised popularity, but ended up taking a back seat, struggling to win the hearts of enthusiasts. He wanted to be the hero, but his reputation soon turned into that of a street villain. With its robust iron block and 5.2 liters, the V8 offered 300 horsepower, a figure that seemed attractive. But when it came to performance, many were disappointed. The American dream became a nightmare in the garage. Unfortunately, there have been several reports of premature where, after just 120,000 miles, internal components were crying out for help, and owners were asking themselves, what went wrong with this promising-looking engine? And to top it off, the 5.2L Magnum V8 consumed more fuel than its performance justified. With so much thirst and dubious delivery, he became the target of criticism. After all, who knew his efficiency was so far from ideal? At number 17, Dodge 5.7L HEMI. The Dodge 5.7L HEMI, an engine celebrated by some people, has also come under fire for persistent problems. Is fame enough to make up for your flaws? This V8 impresses with fuel injection and up to 383 horsepower, but its excessive complexity makes many mechanics stand on end. Can you imagine the headaches this can cause? Cars with more than 150,000 miles reveal difficulties in maintenance, which can make any engine lover think twice. Who knew longevity could become a nightmare? With fame comes fuel, and the HEMI is no exception. Many drivers complain about consumption, leading to the question, is it worth so much power if the gas station bill may be unsustainable? At number 16, Dodge 6.1L HEMI. The Dodge 6.1L HEMI promised impressive performance, but in reality, many owners faced nightmares with this engine. Instead of adrenaline, they were taken to the mechanic frequently. With 6.1 liters and up to 425 horsepower, it was pure power, but this poorly controlled power was a recipe for disaster. Many drivers discovered that speeding could be more risky than fun. In adverse conditions, overheating has become a common problem. Challenger owners often wondered if their car would survive a simple road trip. The engine was notable for its manufacturing flaws, leading to history-making recalls. This is how the name HEMI went from a symbol of power to a warning on automotive forums. At number 15, Dodge 3.8 LV6. The Dodge 3.8 LV6 is considered a base engine for many models, but be careful, its performance leaves a lot to be desired. It is criticized for its lack of power, making many drivers feel frustrated when pressing the accelerator pedal to the metal. With only around 200 horsepower, this V6 has a basic and uninnovative design. While other engines are breaking horsepower records, the 3.8L seems to have been stuck in the previous decade, facing challenges on any track. When the odometer turns to 100,000 miles, that's when the nightmare begins. Many drivers report electrical failures, leaving their car on the side of the road and prompting a desperate cry. Why did I choose that? It's no surprise that this engine is one of the most frequently retired for upgrades. Speed enthusiasts waste no time. They swap these walking bombs for something that actually burns rubber and enjoys every corner. At number 14, Dodge 4.7 LV8. The Dodge 4.7 LV8 is positioned between the V6 and the most powerful V8. It's like an athlete in training, but never really shines. He always remained in the shadows, without receiving the recognition his performance deserved. With 240 horsepower, this V8 looks promising, but the nightmare starts with fuel consumption. If you dream of saving money, this machine is not for you. Get ready to visit the gas station at every corner. Fuel pump failures became a constant after 90,000 miles. Many owners report this headache, as if each trip were Russian roulette with the fuel tank. This engine is often chosen for low-performance models, as if it were the right option on a fast food menu. But in the world of cars, that's the equivalent of ordering a tasteless meal. At number 13, Dodge 3.9 LV8. The Dodge 3.9 LV8 is often seen as the classic V8's weaker brother, with a reputation that doesn't live up to its legacy. Many consider it a depreciated version, always in the shadow of more powerful engines that Dodge has to offer. With just 3.9 liters under the hood and around 185 horsepower, this engine has several power limitations. It's like receiving a Ferrari and discovering that the key is for a Beetle. You expected more, and that's certainly not what the enthusiast had in mind. Stories are told about piston rings wearing out after just 80,000 miles. Yes, you heard right. This engine is famous for getting you on the road sooner than you expected. Almost as if he was saying, "I give up." The reason why many forget about this powerful engine. The famous lack of power. Who wants a Dodge Challenger that doesn't start with a roar? For many, this engine is the perfect example of what not to do when it comes to automotive bodybuilding. At number 12, Dodge 5.9 LV8. The Dodge 5.9 LV8 was seen as a true road warrior, but even with its robust appearance, this engine hid weaknesses that would put many owners in unexpected trouble. Developed for trucks, the 5.9 LV8 should be robust. However, the adaptation to the Chrysler was marked by reliability problems that made many drivers turn up their noses. With over 100,000 miles, many owners have encountered oil leaks, a real nightmare. Imagine the frustration of seeing your engine, supposedly strong, turning into a real walking bomb. The 5.9 LV8 was a bold bet in its time, promising power and performance. However, it failed in critical aspects, proving that not every robust engine is reliable. Was it worth the bet? At number 11, Dodge 6.4L HEMI. The Dodge 6.4L HEMI looked promising, offering robust power for enthusiasts. But as many have discovered, the promises of power came with frustrations that left drivers in shock. With an impressive 6.4 liters, it delivers up to 485 horsepower, but fuel efficiency is disappointing. For those looking for speed, it is necessary to feel the gasoline hunters in your pocket. After 75,000 miles, many drivers reported electrical failures. That's right, the dream of power turns into a headache, making you ask, is it really worth it? Critics often call this engine overkill. While some see potential as possible, others see just a monster that is more of a hindrance than a help. And you, what do you think of this controversial engine? At number 10, Dodge 7.0L HEMI. The Dodge 7.0L HEMI is known as a high-performance engine, but it hides a dark truth. It's full of flaws. Did you know that many drivers encountered more problems than adrenaline when accelerating this monster? With a huge block that promises up to 700 horsepower, the engine looks like an enthusiast's dream. However, its complexity causes many to encounter unexpected problems. Who could imagine that so much power could be so treacherous? Extensive analysis revealed critical failures in the cooling system. Result: damaged engines and frustrated drivers. The question that remains is, how can such a promising engine fail so miserably in its basic function? While many praised the HEMI for its performance, the reality was different. Users often struggled to maintain performance, as small glitches often translated into major headaches, a dream that quickly turned into a nightmare. At number 9, Dodge 5.0 LV8. The Dodge 5.0 LV8 looked promising on paper, but in practice, it left a lot to be desired. Many drivers expected power and excitement, but ended up facing disappointment when they turned the ignition key. With around 200 horsepower, the engine wasn't exactly a beast. Its thermal efficiency was average, which meant that, for many, the promised adrenaline turned into frustration on the road. Long distances were this engine's favorite battleground, and it did not fare well. Under stress, wear and tear was evident, leaving drivers to wonder, was this really the best choice? Power fans turned to the turbo versions, leaving the 5.0 LV8 in the background. After all, who wants an engine that feels more like a big mistake than an adrenaline machine? At number 8, Dodge 6.2 L HEMI. The iconic 6.2 L HEMI is celebrated for its ferocious power, but many drivers can't ignore complaints about its exorbitant gas mileage. Do you also feel the impact on your pocket every time you fill up? With an impressive 707 horsepower, this engine provides breathtaking acceleration. However, the harsh reality is that the thirst for gasoline is insatiable. Think twice before hitting the road. After a few years, some owners reported lubrication failures. Imagine being on the road with an engine that, instead of roaring, could be preparing for a silent breakdown. This is true automotive horror. Despite being loved by many enthusiasts, the cost of fuel is a sticking point. This engine is a speed dream for some, but it can turn into an expense nightmare. Would you pay the price for the adrenaline? At number 7, Dodge 4.0 LV6. The Dodge 4.0 LV6 was designed to balance cost and performance, but it failed to please many critics. A failed attempt to align efficiency and power, resulting in an engine that left most expectations to be desired. With just 200 horsepower and uneven torque, this V6 makes you wonder, where is the power? For a car that promises excitement, this engine feels like a joke, especially when accelerating on an open track. After 100,000 miles, it is common to see pistons worn beyond their limit. Imagine traveling in a car that could fail at any moment. This is more than wear and tear. It's a call for a real engine that stands the test of time. Compared to the options on the market, this engine is considered a real disappointment, a shadow of the more robust alternatives that live to make the heart race, while the 4.0 liters V6 drags in the background like a At number 6, Dodge 6.0 LV8. The Dodge 6.0 LV8, an ambitious attempt that didn't last. This engine was designed to impress, but failed to establish itself as a true warrior on American streets. A disappointment for power lovers. With an impressive 360 horsepower, you'd expect a ferocious engine, right? But the performance ratio left a lot to be desired. Weak when starting off, the 6.0 LV8 disappointed even the most optimistic engine enthusiasts. Just after a few kilometers in severe conditions, mechanical failures began to appear, leaving many drivers in the lurch. This engine quickly gained a reputation for being a real underdog on the roads. Scary, isn't it? Complex integrations and difficult maintenance have made the 6.0 LV8 obsolete in many models. What was supposed to be a robust engine became a headache for many mechanics and muscle car lovers. At number 5, Dodge 4.8 LV8. The Dodge 4.8 LV8 promised power and durability, but many felt cheated. On paper, he looked perfect, but on the road, the reality was very different. Get ready to discover the dark secrets behind this failed engine. With 265 horsepower, the engine sounded imposing, but its lack of innovation and dated design left many drivers frustrated. He couldn't keep up with the evolution of his competitors, becoming a shadow of what he should be. The real disaster began when the injection nozzles failed. These problems became so common that owners started calling it a walking bomb. An unwanted reputation for an icon like the Dodge Challenger, mechanics saw this engine as a nightmare. Inconsistent performance caused headaches for owners and professionals alike. The general recommendation: Get away from the 4.8 LV8, and you'll understand why. At number 4, Dodge 8.0 LV10. The Dodge 8.0 LV10 is famous for its impressive power. However, many drivers have discovered that this strength comes with a price. Reliability leaves a lot to be desired, causing frustration and unwanted surprises on the track. With no less than 8 liters, this engine promised bold, almost hybrid performance. However, in several applications, it failed miserably, proving that not everything that glitters is gold. Would you be willing to take a risk? After 50,000 miles, many owners report frightening wear and tear on internal parts. The harshness of the training turns into a true marathon for the mechanics, always ready to deal with yet another victim of this problematic engine. Regret echoes among the owners of this engine. The high costs associated with failures and repairs are a harsh reality many face, making the promises of a powerful engine become maintenance nightmares. Now, we come to our top 3 on our list. Dodge 5.4 LV8. The Dodge 5.4 LV8 was a real fiasco in automotive evolution. While competitors innovated, this engine was stuck in time, unable to compete with other powers. What chance would he have in a modern race? With 270 horsepower, the engine seemed promising, but the reality was different. It faced serious heating problems and constant failures. He was like an athlete who, despite his strength, always got hurt at the crucial moment. Reports suggest that many engines have broken internal components before reaching 90,000 miles. That confidence in a robust car was turned into a nightmare, leaving many drivers desperate and disappointed. Considered one of Dodge's most criticized engines, its sales were very low. Fans of the Challenger line were so disappointed that this engine quickly became a joke among drivers, overshadowing its performance origins. At number 2, Dodge 5.3 LV8. The Dodge 5.3 LV8 became famous, but not for the right reason. This engine has become a legend, but a legend of headaches and frustration for drivers. Obstinate, it is remembered as one of the worst engines ever installed in a Challenger. With just 300 horsepower, the 5.3 LV8 left many enthusiasts disappointed. For a V8, this number is considered a shot in the foot. After all, who wants a powerful engine that behaves like a lion cub while promising to be king of the jungle? Reports of failures in vehicles that have been driven more than 80,000 miles are common. This engine has such high problem rates that many drivers have even asked if it was an engine or a time bomb about to detonate in their hands. Although the 5.3 liters V8 has been used in several models, drivers don't think twice before switching. The losses that this engine brought forced many to look for more reliable alternatives, and popular wisdom became, better safe than sorry. And now, first on our list, Dodge 5.5 HEMI. The Dodge 5.5 HEMI is widely considered to be the most problematic engine in the Dodge lineup. This piece, which should shine on the road, has become a real mechanical nightmare for many owners. With a displacement of 5.5 liters and a power that promises 400 horsepower, this engine has a bad reputation for constant failures. An explosive combination, but a bad one, if you know what you mean. Durability issues are like echoes on motorsports forums, where complaints about the 5.5 HEMI pile up. Drivers share experiences of breakdowns that would make any engine lover panic. A legion of critics believe that this engine is a true engineering error, and believe me, your criticisms are not unfounded. Negative reports continue to grow, making the Dodge 5.5 HEMI a real taboo among enthusiasts. So, folks, we come to the end of our review of the Dodge Challenger's most disappointing engines. Which of these engines is your favorite? Or do you know of any other engines that should be on this list? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more incredible content like this, and activate the bell so you don't miss any news. Until next time.